Hello children, today we are going to discuss chapter 10, that is gravitation. What is gravitation? Gravitation is the force of attraction between two objects in the universe. Gravitation may be the attraction of objects by the earth. For example, if a body is dropped from a certain height, it falls downwards. Why? Because of the gravity, because of Earth's gravity. If a body is thrown upward, it reaches a certain height and then falls downwards due to the earth gravity. Gravitation may be the attraction between the objects in outer space. For example, attraction between the earth and the moon, and attraction between the sun and the planets. Then centripetal force. What is this centripetal force? When a body moves in a circular path, it changes its direction at every point. The force which keeps the body in the particular path acts towards the center of the circle. This type of force is the centripetal force. Centripetal force which keeps the body in the circular path. If there is no centripetal force, then the body will move in a straight line tangent to the circular path. Now, universal law of gravitation. What is this universal law? The universal law of gravitation states that every object in the universe attracts every other objects with a force which is directly proportional to the product of the masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So let's two objects A and B, masses capital M and small m, lies at the distance, that is d, from each other. Let F be the force of attraction between A and B. So according to the universal law of gravitation, the force between the object is directly proportional to the product of their masses. Means force is directly proportional to the m and n. Capital M and small m, that is the product of the masses, and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. The distance is d, so F proportional 1 upon d square. If this is the equation 1 and this one is the equation 2, if we will combine both the equations, then we will get F proportional m upon d square. Then F is equals to g m upon d square. G is the gravitational constant, because if we want to remove the proportional, then we have to use a constant, and here we are using this G, that is the gravitational constant, where G is the constant of proportionality called the universal gravitational constant. So if we will cross multiply, then we will get F into d square is equals to G m into m. So G is equals to F into d square upon m into n. The SI unit of G is Newton meter square per kilogram square. The SI unit of G is Newton meter square per kilogram square. And the value of this G is 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11. Now we will discuss about the free fall. What is this free fall? The earth attracts object towards it due to the gravitational force. When an object falls towards the earth due to the earth's gravitational force, it is called free fall. So if any other forces will not work on the object and only single force will work on your object, that is gravitational force, this condition of your object is known as free fall. When an object falls towards the earth, there is a change in its acceleration due to the gravitational force of the Earth. So this acceleration is called acceleration due to gravity. The acceleration due to gravity is represented by small g, and the unit of g is same as the unit of acceleration, that is meter per second square. From the second law of the motion, force is the product of the mass and the acceleration. So F is equals to ma. But for free fall, force is the product of the mass and acceleration due to gravity. So F is equals to mg. Here we will use g as the acceleration because this is the acceleration due to gravity. Then mg is equals to gmm upon d square, or g is equals to gm upon d square, where m is the mass of the object as well as m is the mass of the earth, and the d is the distance between the object and the earth. Here capital M is the mass of the earth and small m is the mass of our object. So for object near or on the surface of the earth, d is equals to the radius of the earth, that is r. So now see how we can calculate the g. F is equals to gmm upon r square, then g is equals to f upon m. This is the value of f. If we will put the value of f, then gm upon r square. Mass of the earth, that is capital M, is 6 into 10 to the power 24 kilograms. Radius of the earth, that is r, 6.4 into 10 to the power 6 meters. So if we want to calculate the value of g, then g is equals to gm upon r square. The value of g is 6.67 10 to the power minus 11 into the mass of the earth, that is 6 into 10 to the power 24, upon the radius of the earth, that is 6.4 into 10 to the power 6 whole square. Then we will get the value 9.8. So the value of g is 9.8. What is mass? The mass of the body is the measure of its inertia. If the mass of a body is more its inertia, is more the mass of the body. If mass of body is more, then inertia will automatically increase. The mass of a body is constant and does not change from place to place. SI unit of mass is kilogram. What is weight? The weight of a body is the force with which the earth attracts the object. The force with which object is attracted by the earth depends on is the mass, that is m, and the acceleration due to gravity, that is g. So F is equals to mg. Since weight of the body is the force with which the earth attracts the object, that's why we can use here W instead of F. So W is equals to mg. Since g at a place is constant, then W proportional m. The weight of the object changes from place to place. SI unit of weight is same as the SI unit of force, because here weight is what? Weight of the body is the force with which earth attracts the object. That's why the unit of force as well as unit of weight is same here, that is Newton. Now weight of an object on the moon. The weight of an object on the earth is the force with which earth attracts the object, and the weight of an object on the moon is the force with which the moon attracts the object. So the mass of the moon is less than that of the mass of the earth. So moon exerts lesser force on the objects than earth. The weight of an object on the moon is 1/6 of its weight on the earth. That is 1/6. Now thrust and pressure. What are the thrust? Thrust is a force acting on an object perpendicular to the surface. For example, when you stand on loose stem of force, of your body is acting as an area equal to the area of your feet. And when you lie down, the same force act on an area equal to the contact area of your whole body. In both cases, force acting on the stent means thrust is the same. And the pressure is the force acting on the unit area of the surface. So pressure is equals to thrust upon area, as well as we can use pressure is equals to force upon area, because thrust is also a force. For example, the effect of thrust on loose tent is larger while standing than while laying down. The SI unit of thrust is Newton per meter square, and it is also called Pascal. Now, pressure in fluids. Fluids exert pressure on the base of and the wall of the containers. Fluids exert pressure in all the direction. Pressure exerted on fluid is transmitted equally in all direction. What is buoyant force? When an object is immersed in a fluid, it experiences an upward force that is called buoyant force. And this property is known as buoyancy as well as upthrust. The force of gravity pulls the object downwards and the buoyant force pushes it upwards. The magnitude of the buoyant force depends on the density of the fluid. This is the gravity because this force is acting in the same direction of the gravitation, and this is the buoyant force which liquid will exert on the object. Now, why object floats and sink in water? If the density of an object is less than the density of liquid, it will float on the liquid. And if the density of object is more than that of the density of a liquid, then it will sink in a liquid. For this, we will use one activity. Take some water in a beaker and take a piece of cork and an iron nail of the same mass. Place them in water. The cork floats and the nail will sink. The cork floats because the density of cork is less than that of the density of water. And the upthrust of water is more than the weight of the cork. And the nail will sink. Why? Because the density of the iron nail is more than the density of water, and the upthrust of water is less than the weight of the nail. That's why this nail will sink in the water. Now, Archimedes principle. What is this Archimedes principle? Archimedes principle states that when a body is partially or fully immersed in a liquid, it experiences some special type of upward force that is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by it. Archimedes principle has many uses. It is used in designing ships and submarines, hydrometers used to determine the density of the liquids, lactometer is used for the detection of the purity of a milk. Now, density and relative density. What is this density? Density of a substance is the mass of a unit volume of the substance. So density is equals to mass upon volume. The unit of the density is kilogram per meter cube. Relative density. The relative density of a substance is the ratio of the density of a substance to the density of the water. So relative density is equals to density of substance upon density of water. Since relative density is a ratio of similar quantities, it has no unit. Only this is the ratio. That's why relative density has no its unit. So, dear children, this is the explanation of the chapter of the gravitation. Thank you.